European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen says they have operational contact with the Taliban because of the need to discuss how to facilitate the people trying to reach the airport in Kabul. But she maintains there are no political talks with the Taliban, nor is there any recognition of the Taliban yet. So what does this mean for the refugees and for the EU relations with the Taliban? Let's bring in Professor Michael Semple from the Senator George Mitchell Institute for Global Peace, Security and Justice, Queen's University in Belfast. Professor Semple, thank you for joining us. What's your understanding of the EU position on the Taliban?
The EU is absolutely clear that it has not recognized and has no imminent plans to recognize a Taliban regime in Kabul. However, it is absolutely correct that the EU has some appropriate working ties with the Taliban even before the takeover of Kabul for the organization of humanitarian assistance. There were some contacts with Taliban on the ground. I expect that for the moment that will continue. If anybody's wondering when EU states or the EU more generally will actually have diplomatic dealings with the Taliban or a diplomatic mission there, I think that is a very long road. The Taliban had a chance of pursuing a negotiated settlement with the support of international community. They gave up that chance. They chose to impose their rule by force that violates all international norms. And I think that the wait for recognition will be a very long one.
Now, the EU countries are faced with the need to evacuate those who worked for them in Afghanistan and Afghan refugees fleeing the situation at home. How is the EU likely to motivate member states to take in refugees, and how is this process likely to be organized?
Well, really, there are three stages to this. Many of the people who are getting on the flights, which you're watching on the pictures these days, are not even refugees. They are passport holders or indeed visa holders of the EU states. They're not refugees. They, if they get out safely, they will be able to live normally in the EU countries. Then there are contacts and people, Afghans, who worked with the EU, with member states during the 20 years in Afghanistan. They will have to be settled. Now, member states are taking responsibility for that. Ursula von der Leyen has made clear that there will be some funds made available centrally for member states to be accessed. In terms of the broader scheme of things and the kind of refugee movements that the EU has faced, the people coming out on the airlift, Afghans not holders of EU passports coming out in the airlift, they're relatively small numbers. It's going to be difficult at first. It can be handled. The far bigger question is the next wave. The next wave is potentially millions of people trying to get out of Afghanistan in the months or year or two ahead. Because as of last Sunday, we have to face the fact Afghanistan's a failed state again. Millions of Afghans are doubtful about their future in the country, and that's why you've seen the rapid movement to tighten border barriers in Greece. And I think that the attitude of the EU and member states is likely to be to try and stem that tide, but it's going to be an incredibly difficult task. Because how do you work with the Taliban regime? The Taliban, frankly, it was a very bad move by the Taliban to take over Kabul, even if they could. They have no ability to sustain this economy without a sustainable economy. And in the face of a very, very tough, heartless regime, millions of Afghans are going to try and get across the border, and many of those are going to try to head for Europe.
All right, Professor Michael Semple, thank you very much for those insights.